What's up, Sasquatchers? Today, during these Corona times, we're gonna build a table. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. So I'm gonna go through all our material here. Our first piece is our tabletop, and that's a live edge piece of pine. The next material for our table would be 4x4 post of cedar. Next we've got some knotty pine. And lastly, we've got the pine plywood. So here's our live edge pine. First thing we're gonna do is cut it to size. So Ali has decided that we are going to use this half. I think it's got a little bit more character. It's got all the knots in it. So we're gonna make our coffee table at 4 feet. That will leave us 2 feet to make a nice little end table or something with the remains. For our tabletop, we decided to have the bevel like this, with it thicker on the bottom. That way, when you look at it, you can see its nice live edge. So Ali's got the chisel here, and she's just gonna clean up all this old bark off the live edge.
Here we got some 80 grit sandpaper.
As Ali cleans up those edges, I'm gonna throw some center marks on our slat here. So Ali has nicely cleaned up our live edge. And here you can see the before and after. No, we don't have a chop saw, but Ali's gonna sand these up, and they'll be square as a pear after she's done. So those two 1 foot pieces are for the width, and then I'm gonna cut two 42.5 for the length of the frame. It's time to cut our table legs to length. I'm gonna mark out all the sizes first. So we got our table legs cut to size, but Ali's not happy with the dimensions of them. So we are gonna rip these to smaller. Alright, so obviously I came across a problem here. When I went to go push the 4x4 through, it hits the top of the riving knife right there. So I'm unable to rip the 4x4. So now I gotta rip it by hand with the skill saw, and then I guess I'll touch it up after. So this is rough and not ideal, but I'm gonna have to rip it like this and then flip it over and rip it again.
So we were cutting down our final leg, and we noticed the face of a Sasquatch. So we're gonna keep this one in. So now that we got all our legs cut to their dimension, we thought it'd be a good idea to taper the bottom just so it doesn't look so bulky.
Another perk to tapering the legs is it's a nice door stopper. So we got our legs cut, tapered. Lastly, we're gonna give them nice little brushing with the router. Then we'll sand them down, and then they'll be ready to go. So just we're taking 1/64 of an inch off. So my lengthwise frame pieces, I only had enough wood to make 3 of them. But that's okay. I'm going to rip this down the middle, and then we'll get two pieces out of it, and we'll have enough. So here's our basic table frame design. So next I'm gonna drill some pilot holes here and here, here and here, so on and so forth. Put a little wood glue, and we'll have our basic frame for the bottom shelf anyways. So I got my pilot holes in. I would put a normal or a larger pilot hole bit in, but I broke them all, so this is what I got. Just a little dab will do ya. I knocked the camera over, and just as I thought, the pilot holes are too small. So I cracked this piece, so I'm gonna have to make another one from scratch. Lesson learned. So I grabbed a larger bit, which I figured would be too big, but yeah, it's a 1/8 bit. It's a little bit bigger than my liking, but it'll have to do. We're gonna give that a shot. That pilot hole worked. These screws are a little bit too big, but we're gonna have to make it work. So now that we got all our legs ready to go, our bottom shelf frame ready to go, I'm gonna mark out the height that it's gonna get mounted on. Right now, we are cutting out our bottom shelf. We got our table frame all together, and now we're gonna get some finishing sanding touches on the tabletop. All right, all sanded up. Time for the fun part, staining and painting. So for the tabletop, I'm gonna put on some polyurethane stain, water-based, and Ali's going to use for the table frame a chalked ultra matte paint, country gray. And we're gonna put a couple coats on, and then we're gonna sand the edges to give it a nice vintage look. So I've got my first coat of stain on. Probably do 2 coats. I'll do a light sanding in between coats. And then Ali's got her first coat of chalk paint on. We'll probably do 2 coats of that. And the thing is with this chalk paint is there's no real painting technique to it. It's more or less random crisscross strokes that you're going to be doing.
This one as well, as much as you can on there, and then once it's dry after your second coat, you sand just the edges where it would naturally distress, give it that antique aged look.
Alright, I got my second coat on. It's looking pretty good. And Ali's just finishing up her second coat. Alright, so Ali put her 2 coats on, and now we are just going to rough up the edges to give it that vintage look. So now Ali's got it painted how she wants it. I'm setting up a pocket jig. Gives you nice holes like that, and that's going to, the tabletop's gonna sit on top right here, and the screws are gonna go in like that and hide, be nice and hidden. Okay, the final step. Table's surface ready to go. Let's flip down. On the old mess as you get scratch. All we do is pop this on our layout and screw it down through the pocket holes. Let's do this. All right, the table's all done. It's time to relax.